So starting with effective customer onboarding, the key question to think about here is when you have a new customer who's signed up for a single product or service you offer, what happens next? What do you do in your customer onboarding process to make sure, number one, that your customer has what they need to be successful with that initial product and service, but more relevant to our topic today, number two, that they know what other products and services you offer, so that they understand that they can do more with you than just that one thing that initially brought them in the door to your bank. So I want to talk a little bit about one of our customers, Ent Credit Union. Ent Credit Union was really focused on this question when they first started working with us. And specifically, they have an indirect member process where people who sign up for a new auto loan through the credit union were not expanding beyond that into other products and services they offered. So they recognized that this was an area for potential growth, and they used Creatio to create an indirect member onboarding flow that combined a series of emails and phone calls to let these new members know about all of the other products and services they offer, as well as, again, making sure they're being successful with what they need for that auto loan. How do they make their first payment, et cetera. So as part of this rollout, they started making a lot of phone calls to these new members. It was over 20,000 phone calls over, I forget what that period was, probably the first year or something like that. And they had some huge results from this campaign or this effort. They were able to increase their new deposit conversion rate to 18.5%, which led to almost 6 million in new deposit balances, as well as a 8.5 conversion rate on additional loans from these new members, with results of approximately 1.4 million in annual revenue from those loans. So really big bang for their buck here, as far as seeing the results of building out this customer onboarding process or journey. So again, you want to be asking yourself the question of what are we doing when we have that new customer to help ensure that we can get the most value for that customer and help them be the most successful with us. Moving on to our second area of focus here. We want to be thinking about personalized offers and messaging. And the key question here is, how do you send the right message to the right person at the right time to be the most effective? So I want to provide someone with information about a product or service that they're actually likely to be interested in at a time when they're likely to be interested in it, not just kind of randomly spamming out messages to all of my customers and annoying them with things that don't make sense. A few techniques that can really be helpful here. First of all, effective segmenting. So what this means is that you're not just spamming your entire customer base. You're making strategic decisions with the data you have available on who to target with specific promotions or messages. Out of all of the customers or all of the people in my database, who is this particular offer going to be most intriguing for? Let's make sure we only send it to that group and not to our wider base. In order to do that well, you need to have integrated data sources. So if your data is living in different silos, it's really hard to do effective segmenting. So really, this is almost a sub-bullet of effective segmenting because it's a requirement, a prerequisite in order to do effective segmenting. And we all know AI is a really popular topic right now. One of the ways you can use AI is in this area. So your AI tools can analyze the data that you have from those integrated data sources and look for patterns. When people have product A, what's the next thing they typically sign up for? Or if people have products A and B, what might be a good fit for them? What else do people sign up for at that point? So finding those patterns, AI is really great at analyzing big data sets and being able to find those patterns and tease them out for you so that you don't have to find them yourself. They can do that work for you. Or it can do that work for you, I guess. I like to humanize AI already. So this time I want to share a couple of examples from my life. I, like the rest of the world, bought a house in 2020 and opened a new mortgage. And shortly after, I received an offer from the bank my mortgage is through to open an account with a minimum balance. It was like one of those like high level, really, premium accounts. But the minimum balance was way higher than I could possibly manage anytime soon. And it just struck me as a little ridiculous and a sign that they don't have well integrated data systems because this bank knew all of my financial information. I had just applied for a mortgage with them. They had every single fact about my finances on file in their database. And they sent me an offer that made absolutely no sense for my life and where I was at that point in time. And not only did they send it once, they continue to send it to me every few months. So I'm getting frequently reminded of the ridiculousness of their marketing efforts right now. And it's a waste of time and money for their team to be sending me this messaging. Clearly, their loan system isn't well integrated into their marketing database. And so while the loan system would know I am not qualified for this offer they're sending me, the marketing team doesn't. In contrast to that, my credit card company started offering online banking services. They sent me an offer with a really great savings uh, interest rate, much better than my traditional bank was offering me. So I said, yes, that sounds great. I signed up. I use that account to hold my, 6 months worth of savings. So I've got a pretty good balance sitting there. Um, and because CD rates are so high right now, I've been getting a lot of offers from them to open a CD. Now, this is a smartly targeted offer. I have a good amount of money sitting in a savings account. It could be earning more money, higher interest rate with a CD. It gets them another stronghold with me of another account, another service I'm doing through them. Um, this is an offer that makes sense. This is a well-targeted offer in contrast to that first one. So think about how you can do similar targeting. What are data points you could be using so that you're making offers that are much more like the second one and much less like the first one? I do want to go ahead and jump into my software at this point. I'm going to open up Creatio and talk about how Creatio as a tool can help with some of these things. So specifically talking about segmentation and the idea of the next best offer. What is the best thing that I should be talking with each customer about at any given point in time? So looking at Creatio, first I want to talk about segmentation. This is where having the tools and the integrated data sources is really important. The more data you have in a single database, the more segmentation you can do. But also it's really important that you have tools that make that segmentation easy to build out different types of segments. So you can see I've got a series of different saved searches here. These are all dynamic, so I can click on any of these to see who falls into any of these categories. And just to make sure this is clear to everyone, this is total dummy data. So I can click onto any of these categories to see who are all of my customers who have a loan account. Or let's get more specific. This is a little cut off here, but who are people who have a loan account but not a deposit account? Because that might be a target segment for me that I want to see if there's a need among those customers for a deposit account with me. Or vice versa, maybe people who've got deposit accounts but not loan accounts. We can connect this in with marketing activity data, for example. So who are people who have opened emails that I've sent them from my marketing team or haven't opened emails and vice versa? Who are people who have been visiting my website or coming to events that we're running? So any of that data could be factored in here as well as things like, do we have any active leads or referrals that we're working on with this person right now? So just show you a little bit here about how easy these are to build. So here's a simple one. Credit score is less than 500. It's exactly as simple as it sounds. I just, told the system that I wanted to filter by credit score and picked that value that I wanted. There's also the ability to copy built right in so that I can create different, maybe maybe different tiers if I want 500 to 750 or something. I don't know, whatever tiers I might want. And then something where I'm doing maybe something a little bit more complicated sounding, still really simple to set up. So here I'm saying I'm looking for people who have an account in this category and don't have an account in that category. So it's really easy to take all of these different data points, pull them all together into queries, and then I can use these lists to analyze my database and look for trends. I can use them for target audiences for marketing efforts. I can export these lists to Excel if I wanted to for some reason, although I try not to do that as much anymore. I try to make myself stay in the system as opposed to falling back on my Excel skills. So just a quick view of some of that analysis that you could do here. Let me find a slightly bigger group here just to get you a little bit more data points. You can do a variety of different types of data analysis directly in here. Again, minimizing the need to export to Excel. Anything from like how big is this group to understanding what products and services they have. Are they marketable? Or have they opted out? You know, how many of them have opened emails in the last 6 months? Demo system, so I haven't sent a lot of emails out, which is why I've got nothing there. Or maybe I want to look at how many of them fall into different categories. So what branch are they associated with, or what geography are they associated with? You know, this could be state, like my example, but it could be county or city if you're a more locally based organization. And so you have really the ability to dive deeper into this data. You can click through from here to drill down into the data itself if you wanted to. So lots of great segmentation capabilities. But I better move on or I'm going to run out of time here. So the other thing I wanted to show you in this area is the next best offer function. So this is a tool that's built into Creatio where I can get on-screen alerts when I'm talking to a particular customer. You know, maybe Madison's talking to me in the branch, or maybe she's called into the call center. And this is prompting me to think about, as part of that conversation, what other products and services would make sense for Madison. Maybe I can mention, oh, by the way, did you know we offer a insert product service name? These recommendations can be entirely AI driven. They can be created by your marketing team if you want to promote different products or services. They could be, you know, automatically generated with other tools where you have maybe more control than an AI if you want that approach. So a lot of flexibility there. It will, at least if you're doing it with AI, you would assign a percentage of likelihood of that particular offer being a good fit. And you can also put additional details in here so that the person talking to the customer has those quick talking points of what are the benefits that I should talk about when I'm offering this particular product or service. If someone says they're not interested, I can also just remove that from their offers list so it doesn't come up again in the future. No one else talks to them about a credit rewards card in the future if they're not interested. And depending on, you know, how you've integrated your applications system or process, you could potentially start the application for that product or service directly from here.